Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Food Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I'm Anna Sheena Walsh, Head of Growth at Cast Iron, and I have a very special guest for you today. I am so excited for you all to hear her story and learn a little bit about her business. I'm here with Laura Luk of Butterfly Bakes ATL. And with that, I'm actually going to kick it over to Laura to tell us a little bit about herself.
Thanks, Anna. Thank you so much for having me. So as you said, my name is Laura Luk. I'm the cookie artist behind Butterfly Bakes ATL. I'm a home-based cottage food baker. I sell custom cookies out of my home. And I also have a social media presence where I create super soothing, satisfying cookie content for all ages. People love watching cookie videos of mine, and I love producing that type of content. So I'm a one-woman show. I do it all. I'm the customer service rep, the marketing person, the photographer, the decorator, and I have so many parts of my business that have really taught me a lot about myself. And I think this is something that I am so excited to share with other people, because I think the more we can feel alike and less alone, the better we can be going forward in our individual businesses.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Well, now that we know a little bit about you, can you tell us a little bit about your business? Where do you sell? And then how did you get started?
Yeah, so I'm a cottage food baker, which basically means I do everything from my home. So I'm licensed to bake, sell, and distribute direct to consumer custom decorated sugar cookies. So I'm pretty niche in what I do. I don't do cakes, I don't do cupcakes or any other baked items. I just do the decorated sugar cookies with royal icing. That's my specialty. And I primarily do special occasions like weddings, birthdays, baby showers, wedding showers, all those fun events where we celebrate in life and want something really custom. So I have a very particular customer. I've been able to build my business here in Atlanta because, like I said, I only sell locally. I don't ship nationwide or anything like that. So I have a very niche business. I rely a lot on my local community. And how did I get started? I actually got started is it two? I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago at this point. And it was Christmas of 2020. So it was during the pandemic. I had a 6-month-old baby, and I just started decorating cookies for fun. I was not working at the time. I was home with my 2 girls, and I just found something I really loved and I felt like I was good at. I remember saying to my husband, I feel like I could sell these. And, being the supportive husband he is, he wasn't discouraging of that. He was very encouraging of me making the cookies, but knowing that I had these 2 young kids at home, I had a lot on my plate. He said, well, maybe you should make the cookies and just give them out to people. And I said, maybe I'll just use Christmas as my test run. So I like to say I was like a rookie football player playing the Super Bowl because Christmas is a huge time for decorated cookies. People give them as gifts, people have them at their home. And so that was the very first time I decided to sell my cookies. And I made over 500 cookies that very first Christmas. And I just thought, I just love this so much. I was super tired from making that many cookies, but I was like, what's next? So I started taking orders via my social media and, eventually creating Butterfly Bake's own social media to advertise my business. But it just spread like wildfire, and I haven't looked back since.
I love it. How did you get your first customer?
Definitely I think I posted on my personal and so my personal Instagram and Facebook. So, over the course of my life, I've probably gained about 1,000 Facebook friends and maybe 500 Instagram friends from my personal life. So I put the word out, hey, I'm selling these cookies now. Of course, of those numbers I just gave, probably 5% of those are local to me in Atlanta. So I definitely started with friends and family. It started small, and like I said, it grew really quickly from word of mouth. But then I also, in April of 2021, so 4 to 5 months post me starting my business, I really jumped into the Instagram game. And I call it a game because it is a numbers game, it is an algorithm. And I started feeding the machine what it wanted in order to advertise my business, not knowing that I would fall in love with making content. But in doing so, I was able to grow my Instagram to a point where now I'm pretty much the first, or one of the top searchable people in Atlanta for cookies. So that's how I really jump started the business, is by utilizing social media. And I really believe that you can be on social media, not be a content creator, but have your platform in a way that makes you searchable, that makes your business viewable. Social media is a search engine, right? It's something that we go to. It's people either go to Google or they go to social media, and more times than not, I'm asked, what's your social media, instead of what's your website. So I think it's great to have both, and you have to have both. But I very quickly realized that it was important for me to have a professional Instagram account. So whether it's Instagram or Facebook, commit to one, start, posting photos of your product, ideally videos of your product to get it out there. But that's how I really got my business off the ground.
Yeah, I love it. And so the social media stuff makes total sense to me. I think thinking of it like a search engine is super interesting. So I guess for the particulars for our audience, did you utilize hashtags, particular content types? What did you do to make yourself searchable? And do you find that a lot of your target audience is searching social media versus Google?
So to answer the first part of your question, I do a couple things. So when I first started out, I didn't know anything. I do not have a background in marketing. I'm not, educated on, I haven't taken any courses on social media. I soaked up the knowledge of other people that were doing well, whether they were in my niche or social media experts, as you would say. There's a lot of these types of people out there. One person in particular that I have learned a lot from, his name is Brock Johnson. He's an Instagram coach. I would really recommend taking in his content. And then I actually attended a paid course. So I paid for a course by Sarah Crawford of Broma Bakery, and she also has a food photography school. And that was really, really helpful for me to kind of cut out all the noise of what we see on social media, what we think we need to be doing. And a couple things that I did, tangible things that I did, was change my social media profile to be reflective of a business, not like, hey, thanks for stopping by, or DM me for information. If you're a real business, you don't operate that way. You operate in a professional way. You state very clearly what you do, where you're located. You direct people to your website, because really, social media is the place where people go to find you, but you need to send them somewhere else. You don't want them to talk to you through social media. You don't want them to try to order from you or figure out what your product is like through social media. You want to use Instagram to get them to your website and then get them to engage with you there. If you are a person that is selling product, you are an individual. That's what's so beautiful about what we do, is we're individuals doing this. We're not working for anyone else, but at the same time, we have to act and present ourselves to the public as a business. And that's what I love so much about this community and Cast Iron, is you all are helping enable us to do that. And I just love empowering business owners to, take ownership of your business, take ownership of how you want to operate it. Do you want to be at the mercy of people in your DMs? Instagram should be a filter for us, and get people in our door, but also make sure that we're getting the right customers as well.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's important to think of it as a channel, maybe not as the storefront. And we've heard that from a lot of people. That's quite stressful for solo business owners. But that brings me to a good transition to the next question, which is for people that either are just starting in their own food business or maybe want to do this. Do you have any advice on how to get started and maybe what to do in the first month or two?
Yeah, I think it's a balance, right? You're gonna feel for a while that you don't know what you're doing. I still kind of feel that way at times, or I feel like I'm just, I'm 2 years in. So sometimes I'm on autopilot and sometimes I'm like, hold on, like a couple months ago, I bought an edible printer and it just blew my mind because I'm like, I have no idea how to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. Right. So the number one piece of advice I give people at any point in their business, whether they're starting or they're 10 years in, is don't rely on anyone else. So for an example, I never knew how to take pictures. Like my whole life, anytime I needed a nice picture taken, I would ask my husband. He's just naturally adept at taking pictures. Like if we're at a restaurant and we want to take a picture of the food, he takes the picture. So in the first, I would say 2 months of my business, whenever I would make a set of cookies, I would say to my husband, can you take pictures for me for my Instagram? And this seemed in my mind at the time like a very like sustainable, like I made it like, oh yeah, that's just going to be so easy for him to do. Maybe he'll enjoy it. Well, anyone who's married knows it very quickly became something where I was bugging him about it. And I was getting frustrated. He was getting frustrated. And I was like, you know what? I got to figure this out. Like, and it's so funny for me to be sharing this story now because I have since done everything on my own. I figured out this edible printer. I have a 3D printer that prints cookie cutters. I figured out how to put all that together. It may have taken me 8 hours, but I figured it out. And ever since, like any problem that has come up in my business, I've been able to handle it. And that has been so empowering for me. And I am not naturally adept to a lot of these things. Cookies felt very natural for me. When I started decorating cookies, it felt like I just kind of moved into this area in my life where I felt like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now, but there are so many things about running a business that I did not feel naturally adept to. And so that's like my number one thing for people is use the internet, use YouTube, use these platforms and find people that are experts in what they do and emulate them.
I love it. And for those watching, Laura is an expert and has some nice materials out there. So you can check her out, which is great. I love it. I think there's a ton of tangible advice that people can follow. And I know I've learned a lot. But now I think we can move on to our lightning round, Laura. So I'm going to ask a few quick questions. And, we're looking for like very quick answers from you, top of mind, whatever comes up, no pressure. So I'm going to start asking those and we'll get through them quickly and see where we end up.
Great.
Okay, lightning round. 1, what is your favorite resource to learn how to better run your business?
Foodtography school.
Yes, I love her too. I follow along. For those that don't follow, it's Broma Bakery, right?
Yes, Sarah Crawford, Broma Bakery, and she runs the separate Instagram, which is Foodtography School.
Yes, check it out, everyone. It's very aesthetically pleasing, even if you're not into that for yourself. Okay, 2, someone that you admire in business or in life.
There's a local cake artist here named Larissa Neto. She's Portuguese and she is Bakey Bakes, and I super admire her. She does everything by herself.
Ah, love it. Okay, what are you most proud of in your business or maybe in your life?
Doing everything myself.
I love it. And the last one, you might have answered already, but I'm going to ask it just in case. Sharing the love, who else would you like to see on this series? Does not have to be affiliated with Cast Iron. Who's a food entrepreneur that you'd like to share their story?
I have a friend, she's based in New York. Her name's Mary. Her handle is the Flower Gardener. And I just love I love everything she does. And I don't think she thinks of herself in the way that other people think of her. So I would love to spotlight her.
Okay, great. We will absolutely reach out, see if she's willing to chat with us. But that brings us to the end of our lightning round. Thank you so much, Laura. I learned so much. I know our audience did too. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me, Anna.